Welcome to a world where the unexpected unfolds. Join us in the first part of our thrilling What If series, as we delve into the dynamic interactions between Deku, Ibara, Kinoko, Yui, Setsuna, Reiko, and Kendo from My Hero Academia. Get ready to explore intriguing scenarios and unexpected twists in this exciting crossover adventure. Izuku Midoriya, a boy with a dream of being a hero, got rejected by Yui for being from a faraway country and not old enough. So, defeated, he pursued his second dream: being famous. At 10, he started his YouTube channel and put in a lot of effort, becoming well known throughout Latin America and even in some foreign countries. But one day, he received a message that would change his life. Don't believe me? Well, come along and see this story. Somewhere in Mexico. Izuku, in a world full of bad performances, situations that would never happen in real life, where there are ladies walking down the street, and you come across a giggling girl. Izuku in the background, "What are you laughing at, you darn girl?" he said, shouting. Izuku, and Santa, he said, seeing an elderly woman with a Santa Claus hat in a sinful world. There's only one who will free us from it all. Yes. And he is the bike guy. How about that? He said, excitedly watching his screen. What's this? You might ask. Did Misa do an analysis of the rows just a week after posting another video? Well, yes. He said, excitedly. Izuku, well, guys. As you know, since I was little, I wanted to be a hero. I sent a scholarship application to UA. They sent me packing. Darn jerks. But let's get to the point. Since I was little, I wanted to be a hero, so the episode will react to today. Even the ugly ones can be heroes. Why? Easy, my feathered friend. A chicken sound is heard because I'm ugly. With the dream of being a hero. But it couldn't come true. So, let's start this crap, guys. He said, starting the episode. 17 minutes later. Izuku, so, guys. That's it for today's video. I hope you liked it, and remember. He switches the screen to black and white and shows another recording. Guys. It's me, remember I told you UA sent me packing. Well, it wasn't like that. See, I was editing this video and look what I got. He said, showing his phone. It says my application to UA got accepted, and a UA teacher will come to pick me up to start my studies. In Japan. So, we're heading to the land of One Ekin and Goku. It'll be tough leaving Mexico, but hey. Follow your dreams. Remember, we've come this far with the help of all of you. And I'll never leave you, so I'll keep making videos in Japan if they let me have my computer in my room. Maybe my new classmates will help me record, and if they don't, I'll smack their turtles. Well, guys. I just wanted to give you the good news. Bye. The screen returns to normal. Don't smack old ladies unless you bring your AK-47 to protect yourself from their fish. He said, ending the video. Inko, how are you, son? She said, looking at Izuku sitting on the couch. Izuku, I don't know, Mom. I'm going to study in Japan to finally become a hero. I'm happy. But scared. He said, nervously laughing. Inko, well. All we can do is wait for the teacher who will take you to the airport so you can leave. She said, for Izuku to nod. Do you have your bags? Izuku nods. Did you dismantle and pack your computer? Izuku nods. Your instruments? Izuku nods. Well. I think you have everything. She said, with a sad look. Then Izuku hugged Inko. Izuku, I'll only be gone for 3 years. I'll come back when I'm a hero. He said, smiling. Inko, yes. You're right, look, in that pan, I packed some chilaquiles and tamale patties for you. Take care of your pan, or else. She said, with a cold look. Izuku, you understood. He said, nervously. Inko, and also, son, cut that hair of yours, you're going to look all scruffy, what a bad impression you'll make. She said, looking at her son. Izuku, I already told you, boss. It's a helmet. He said in a teasing tone, making them both laugh. Don't worry, I'll tie my hair to look better, okay? He said, so Inko nodded. But that moment was interrupted by the sound of the door being knocked. They looked at each other, then Izuku had to go open the door while Inko went to fetch something to drink. As he opened the door, he started to feel heavy breathing and a shadow looming over him. Out of fear, he didn't raise his head. Izuku, hey, hey, hey. He said nervously, thinking it might be a cloud. It's a cloud. He said fearfully as the shadow didn't disappear, alright, dude. He said, scared. Then, although fearful, Izuku decided to lift his head. And then he saw a man almost 2 meters tall staring at him intensely while breathing heavily and with his arms crossed. His lower fangs sticking out a lot from his mouth. Izuku, a vampire. AHH. He screamed in fear. Take as reference the scene from minute 2:15 to minute 2:32. Vlad, Izuku. Midoriya. He said seriously. Izuku, does he owe you money? Vlad, no. Izuku, is he here to hit you? Vlad, no. I'm from UA. I'll be your teacher for these 3 years you'll be studying in Japan. He said bored. Izuku, oh, then it's me. He said, getting a sweat drop from Vlad. Vlad, brat. He said, giving him a slap. Izuku, hey, dude. He said, rubbing his head. Vlad, grab your stuff and let's go. Oh, by the way, you'll have to catch up. Classes started a month ago. He said, worrying Izuku. Izuku, what? And why did they tell me just now? He said, indignant. Vlad, I don't know, and it doesn't matter to you. He said, bored. Izuku, dude. I don't know what they told you to come and get me, but I'm a student. It does matter to me. What am I going to do now? He said, worried. Vlad, catch up. Now let's go. He said, getting into his car. Then the green-haired boy took his suitcases, his instruments and said goodbye to his mother to get into Vlad's car. And thus, they set off for Japan. A movie by Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, Mexico. San Juan, Aragon. But this is my neighborhood. He said in a raspy voice. And then filmed Vlad. Vlad, who are you talking to? He said bored. Izuku, no one. Just making a video of the trip. He said calmly. Vlad, you can't show it to anyone. He said seriously. Izuku, yeah, I know. He said a bit scared. Vlad, and why are you narrating with that voice? He said confused. Izuku, because it sounds crazy, he said, smiling. Vlad, crazy. He said, putting on sunglasses. Izuku, wasn't Vlad blood in English? He said curious, but then saw how a glass separating them went up and now it looked like he was filming, thanks to the reflection. Now we can see how the car parks in front of a big plane and Vlad opens the trunk. Vlad, get down. I won't carry your suitcases. Hurry up, he said, bored, to press a button on a keychain and then the plane made a noise and the door opened. Izuku, hey. Shouldn't I go to the bathroom first? He said confused. Vlad, there's a bathroom inside. He said, so the recording cut, and now the green-haired boy appeared filming the cockpit. Izuku, wow. There's no pilot. How crazy. He said amazed. Now we see him sitting in front of Vlad. Vlad, will you sit there? He said bored. Izuku, yeah. He said, downplaying it. Vlad, is it your first time on a private plane? He said confused. Izuku, first time on a plane, period. He said nervously laughing. Now we see how Vlad moves to a seat away from the green-haired boy. Izuku, hey. Is it normal for it to make that noise? He said scared, but Vlad didn't respond to him. Now we can see the green-haired boy filming himself making the gesture to be quiet, then he turns the camera to a sleeping Vlad. He moves the camera so close that it woke Vlad up, who was about to hit him out of fright, but Izuku quickly backed away. Now we can see these two arriving at the airport in Japan. And the green-haired boy starts talking to the camera. Izuku, nobody has told me yet what UA is like. I just know I came to study to become a hero. Vlad, this is the car. He said so Izuku could get into a car. Izuku, okay, Izuku. You'll be a hero. You can do it, he said filming himself. Vlad, why don't you get out? He said opening the green-haired boy's door. Izuku, are we already here? I thought it would take longer. Apparently, it didn't take much time at all. He said surprised filming himself. Vlad, yes, now get out. He said so Izuku got out and filmed UA. Izuku, wow. He said amazed seeing the big school. We can see the green-haired boy walking through the corridors of UA excited. Izuku, the craziest thing just happened. I just met All Might, took a photo with him, and he'll be my teacher. He said excitedly filming himself. Vlad, kid, we've arrived at the classroom, stop filming. He said annoyed. Izuku, yeah, sorry. I have to go. He said, turning off his camera. End of the movie. Vlad, I'll introduce you to the others. In the meantime, fix that hair of yours. He said, looking at the green-haired boy. Izuku, at your command. He said, starting to tie his hair. Vlad, well. Wait for me here. He said, so Izuku nodded. Then Vlad entered the classroom. All the students stared at their teacher. The questions didn't wait. Kendo, Professor Vlad. Why didn't you come yesterday? Are you okay? She said, worried. Vlad, well. Yesterday I didn't come because I had to go to Mexico. He said, impressing everyone. Everyone, Mexico. They said, surprised. Setsuna, and what were you doing all the way there, Professor Vlad? She said, confused. Vlad, well. I went to bring your new classmate. He said, surprising everyone even more. Everyone, new classmate. They said, surprised. Vlad, yes. He sent his application to UA more than 6 years ago, but due to his age, we couldn't accept him. Now that he's turned 16, he can study here. But we remembered his application 3 days ago, so he'll have to catch up, and I hope you'll help him. Understood? He's Mexican. So don't be surprised if you see something strange, he said, looking at all his students as they nodded with a sweat drop. Setsuna, do you think he's handsome? She said with a flirty smile, looking at Yui. Vlad, you can come in. Yui, I don't know. And I don't. Don't. She couldn't finish speaking due to the blush that formed on her face, just like all the girls. Yes, even Ibara, upon seeing the green-haired boy pass. Izuku, hey. Hello, guys. I'm Izuku Midoriya. Fish hunter and professional grandma kicker. Nice to meet you. He said, smiling, confusing everyone. Everyone, what? They said with a sweat drop. Classes had been peaceful until lunchtime. The green-haired boy, not knowing anyone, went to sit at a lonely table where he was watched by the whole class B. Kendo, why is he sitting alone? She said, confused, looking at the green-haired boy. Manoma, maybe he's very shy, he said, shrugging his shoulders. Yui, what if we go to him? She said, surprising everyone a little. Setsuna, are you okay? She said, confused. Yui, yes. Why wouldn't I be? She said seriously. Ibara, well. Let's just say you're not one to make friends easily, she said, smiling nervously. Yui, well. He caught my attention, she said, lowering her head with a blush that no one noticed. Tetsu, why don't we go talk to him? He said, smiling. Kinoko, is that right? Said a very timid girl. Then they all looked at each other and nodded. So they stood up and went to the green-haired boy's table. Izuku, hey dude. Bullying is wrong, he said nervously. Kendo, what? No. We don't want to bully you, we just want to be your friends, she said, smiling as everyone nodded. Izuku, and this Rose amused, he said, surprised, confusing everyone. Yui, what Rose? She said, somewhat embarrassed and confused. Izuku, oh, nothing. Just a joke. So, what do you want to know? He said, smiling. Then everyone sat down to talk more comfortably with the green-haired boy. Ibara, what are your hobbies? She said, smiling. Izuku, if I tell them I make videos, will they only talk to me because I'm famous? No, better not tell them. No, I don't have any hobbies. Well, I like playing musical instruments, he said, smiling. Manoma, really? And what do you play? He said as everyone nodded. Izuku, all kinds of guitars. Acoustic, electric, keyboard, drums. And a bunch, he said, laughing along with everyone. That was one of Izuku's ways. Making people like him. No matter how bad your day was, how angry you were. If you knew Izuku, he would always make you smile. After that, they kept talking until it was time to go back to the classroom. He returned to his classroom with a smile. At least he could make friends. He sat down in his seat next to Ibara and Yui. And the class began. But in a very particular way. All Might, I'm coming in. Like a normal person, he said, entering the classroom in a very bizarre pose. Oh, no one was surprised at that moment since they got used to having All Might as a teacher in his weird poses. But there was one who wasn't. Izuku, silence, what? He said, confused. All Might, put on your hero costumes and let's go to Beta Field. You'll have the same bomb training but with different teams including young Midoriya now, he said, smiling for everyone to nod. Then the green-haired boy saw a briefcase with his name on it and he just took it and with the help of the others headed to their dressing rooms. The green-haired boy, a bit embarrassed, decided to dress alone so he waited for everyone to leave. He would ask for directions later. Then after everyone put on their costumes, they headed to the beta field. All Might, you look good, youngsters. So we can. Kendo, wait, Professor, she said, making All Might stop. All Might, yes, Miss Kendo, what's the matter? He said, confused. Kendo, Midoriya is missing, she said, but everyone quieted down upon hearing footsteps running towards them. Izuku, I'm here. I'm here. I got lost and had to ask for directions, he said, smiling nervously but noticed everyone staring at him. Reiko, is that your costume? She said, confused. Izuku, yes. Is it cool? He said, smiling. Sorry, it was all I could find, XD. Everyone, yeah. It's awesome, they said with a nervous smile. No one wanted to take away the green-haired boy's happiness. All Might, well. Let's start with the teams, he said, smiling. After a while, All Might finished assembling the teams. And the girls. They wouldn't lie, they all wanted to be with the green-haired boy. But only one got the chance. All Might, so. Izuku Midoriya and Kinoko Komori as the last team, he said, exciting the mushroom girl and making some girls jealous. Kinoko, we're Team M Midoriya, she said, blushing and nervous. Izuku, yeah boy, he said, excitedly raising his fist for Kinoko to fist bump him. She, understanding, bumped it with a somewhat nervous smile. All Might, well. Let's start the battles, he said, excited. After a while and several battles. Finally, the last battle arrived. The one with the green-haired boy. All Might, so Izuku Midoriya and Kinoko Komori will go as heroes against Tetsu and Nato Monoma as villains. The mentioned ones go to the building while the others head to the camera room, he said happily as everyone nodded. Now we can see Izuku and Kinoko outside the building while Monoma and Tetsu were already inside. Then they heard a voice. All Might, remember that we can see and hear what you say and do. So. Do a good job. Good luck to both teams, he said, smiling for the four to nod. Kinoko, do you have a P plan? Said the shy girl. Izuku, yes. What's your power? He said, confused. Kinoko, well. My power allows me to generate all kinds of mushrooms from the moisture in the environment. But in places like this, I can't use it well, that's why I always carry these small water pistols with me, but they're very small, she said with a big smile. Izuku, wow. Your attitude changes with mushrooms, huh? He said, smiling. Kinoko, I really like them, she said with a big smile. Izuku, well. Show me your pistols, he said so Kinoko handed them to him. Enlarged, he whispered, unheard by Kinoko but heard in the camera room. Everyone watched in amazement as Kinoko's pistols became 10 times bigger and with more water. In the camera room. Kendo, look, Kodai. It's like your quirk, she said excitedly. Yui, why yeah. Even our quirks are similar, she said shyly with a blush. With Izuku. Kinoko, wow. Your quirk is to enlarge. Like Kodai? She said surprised. Izuku, yeah. Let's say it is, he said, smiling. Kinoko, but I can't carry that. They're twice my size, she said, laughing timidly. Izuku, try it. They weigh as much as a feather, he said, smiling. Then Kinoko took the 2 pistols and was surprised to see that they weighed nothing. She just smiled. Kinoko, thanks, Midoriya, she said with a big smile. Izuku, no problem, he said with a big smile, making Kinoko blush. All Might, start, he said so Izuku suddenly turned serious, surprising everyone. Kinoko, why so serious all of a sudden? She said a little scared. Izuku, oh no, it's my serious battle face. Do you like it? He said, laughing, eliciting a sweat drop from everyone. In the camera room. Awase, he likes to take things with humor, right? He said with a sweat drop. Setsuna, who do you think will win? I think Tetsu and Monoma will win since both would be made of steel and steel isn't affected by Komori's mushrooms. Although we don't know for sure what Midoriya's quirk is, he said, confusing everyone. Reiko, you're right. What could it be? She said seriously. All Might, well, let's see to find out, he said as everyone nodded. With Izuku. He found himself running with Kinoko, searching for the bomb room. But then felt a strong blow to his abdomen. Tetsu, Monoma. They're here, he said, watching as his partner approached. Kinoko, Midoriya. Are you okay? She said seriously. Izuku, it reminds me of the time I was stabbed in Oaxaca, he said, eliciting a sweat drop from everyone. Then he slowly stood up. Well, I'm not skilled in a fighting style. But I don't need it, he said, smiling, assuming a somewhat strange guard stance. In the camera room. Everyone, Kendo? Kendo, no. She doesn't exist. He just made her up, she said with a sweat drop, eliciting one from everyone. With Izuku. Izuku, Mushroom Girl. Wait for me behind, he said, smiling, gesturing for Komori to nod and stand behind him. Tetsu, behind, hero. We won't let, he couldn't continue as he started laughing along with Monoma. Old man. Sorry, but I can't take you seriously with your costume, he said, tears of laughter streaming down his face along with Monoma. Izuku, that's why I made it like this, he said, smiling, silencing both instantly. Epic music, he said in a whisper that only the camera crew could hear, and they were surprised to hear a song starting to play. Monoma, what? How did you put that music? What's your quirk? He said nervously. Then the green-haired boy started laughing in a very exaggerated way, more amusing than scary. But for the moment, no one laughed. Izuku, world editing, he said, surprising everyone. And now? I summon you. Wizard Mage, he said, confusing everyone. Everyone watched as smoke rose from the ground and the sound of gas could be heard. But they all watched in surprise as someone identical to the green-haired boy but dressed as a wizard with cardboard eyes drawn on. And triple his size. Appeared behind him. Wizard Mage, hello, he said, looking at Izuku but then saw Kinoko. Who's this Chinese monkey, dude? He said, confused. Izuku, we're in Japan, he said dismissively. Wizard Mage, why did you summon me? Stupid with an oboe odor, he said, eliciting a sweat drop from everyone. Izuku, to defeat them, he said, pointing at Tetsu and Monoma who were on guard. Wizard Mage, I don't want to, he said, disappearing. Everyone at that moment was perplexed but watched as the mage appeared again. Wizard Mage, ha, you thought I'd leave you? He said, smiling. Izuku, yeah, idiot, just attack them, he said seriously. Wizard Mage, on your command. Why are you insulting me, dude? He said, confused. Izuku, I don't know. Attack, he said, pointing at them. Wizard Mage, yes, he said, launching himself to attack them. Then he approached the two boys. And threw them out of the window. Leaving everyone in shock. Izuku, no. What did you do? He said scared. Wizard Mage, don't worry, look. Poof, he said, snapping his fingers and a trampoline cushioning both of their falls. Now run because they're climbing back up, he said, disappearing. Izuku, wall, he said in a whisper so everyone saw how a wall divided the hallway, leaving him and Kinoko on one side to go up the stairs. Then without wasting time, both climbed the stairs to touch the bomb, and they did. They touched the bomb. All Might, heroes. Win, he said with a big smile. Izuku, hey, we won, Mushroom Girl. High five, he said, raising his hand for Kinoko to fist bump. Kinoko, why yeah. We won, she said, returning to her shy phase. Izuku, well. I'm hungry, he said, beginning to walk towards the exit, eliciting a sweat drop from everyone. After that, they returned to their classroom. Where they would bombard Izuku with a million questions. Kendo, so. What's your quirk, Midoriya? She said, confused, like everyone else. Izuku, my quirk is called world editing. It allows me to do whatever I want in the world as long as I have a clear image of it. What you saw is one of the powers that come with this quirk, he said, surprising everyone. Everyone, are there more? They said, confused. Izuku, yes. There are more. But hey, classes are over and I have things to do. He was about to leave but stopped abruptly. Where do we sleep? He said, eliciting a sweat drop from everyone. After that, the boys led the green-haired boy to the 1B dormitories. But when they entered, they saw all the boxes in the living room. It was the green-haired boy's stuff. Izuku, seriously? He said, already tired. Then, the green-haired boy, under everyone's gaze, started to tidy up his things in his room. The curious thing is that he did it in less than 5 minutes. But when he came downstairs, he was already sweaty and tired. When he came down, the girls blushed massively at the sight of the sweaty green-haired boy with his hair loose. He seemed like an angel in their eyes, but he just approached the boys. Izuku, thanks for helping me. I appreciate it, he said sarcastically. Monoma, but you never asked us for it, he said, looking at him. Izuku, but it was obvious that I needed damn help, he said, but then started to laugh. You guys are too much, he said, laughing. Ibara, hey, Midoriya, I have a question, she said, drawing everyone's attention. Izuku, come on, Vine Girl, spill it, he said happily. Ibara didn't take offense at the nickname. In fact, she found the green-haired boy's enthusiasm rather endearing. Ibara, what was that box full of lights and with tubes of water inside? She said, confused. Izuku, oh. That's my computer, he said, smiling. Ibara, but why does it have so many lights? She said, confused. Izuku, because it's a specialized gaming computer, he said, surprising everyone. Yui, and why would you want a computer just for gaming? She said seriously but with a slight blush. Izuku, well. It's not just for gaming. It can do many other things but it can run current games that are very heavy, you understand? He said while everyone nodded. Ibara, yes. Thanks for clearing that up, she said, smiling with a slight blush. Izuku, well. I'm going to take a shower. It'll take me approximately 4 hours. Don't come into my room during that time. Well, I'll be back, he said, going upstairs. At that moment, everyone was confused. Why didn't he want them to go upstairs? But they decided not to pay attention and continued doing their own things. Time skipped 4 hours. Everyone was bored, with nothing to do. They just had to wait for the green-haired boy to come down to see if he could make them laugh. His humor is great according to them. But they couldn't help but burst into laughter when they saw the green-haired boy coming down dressed as a lobster. Izuku, what? Is there something on my face? He said, confused. Monoma, what are you doing dressed like that? He said, laughing out loud. Izuku, oh. I forgot to take it off. It's nothing, just something I do. Well. I'm going to bed. Good night, he said, grabbing a cookie and leaving. Time skip. Izuku, Izuku lobster. Izuku crustacean. Izuku lobster. Uu, the song could be heard as he pretended to be a lobster with his costume. I'm going to tell you the story of Misa. The guy who painted the Mona Lisa. He makes videos that sometimes make you laugh. But honestly, his life is very sad. He always dreamed of being a lobster. Ever since he was a child, that was his passion. He said he would be one at all costs. Even if that dream cost him a kidney. Misa lobster, Misa crustacean, Misa lobster. Misa lobster, Misa crustacean, Misa lobster. I'm going to tell you the story of Misa. The guy who painted the Mona Lisa. He makes videos that sometimes make you laugh. But honestly, his life is very sad. He always dreamed of being a lobster. Ever since he was a child, that was his passion. He said he would be one at all costs. Even if that dream cost him a kidney. Misa lobster, Misa crustacean, Misa lobster. Misa lobster, Misa crustacean, Misa lobster. The green-haired boy finishes the recording, crying dramatically on the floor with his lobster costume. We can see a group of kids watching television together. But one of them was missing. Kendo, hey. Where's Midoriya? She said, looking confused. Ibara, I think Midoriya is still sleeping, she said, with her hands together. Monoma, but it's 11 in the morning, he said, surprised. Yui, maybe he's sleeping in, he said, trying to keep his tone stoic. He found the idea of the green-haired boy sleeping beautiful. Monoma, you're right, he said, taking a sip of his coffee. Setsuna, you just made me crave coffee, she said, getting up to go to the kitchen. Tetsu, hey, why do you think Midoriya wears those weird costumes? He said, puzzled. Kinoko, well, makes HML look very cute, she said, blushing, while some girls nodded in agreement. Awase, but why? No one could continue as they heard loud laughter coming from the kitchen. When they went to investigate, they saw Setsuna laughing uncontrollably. Kendo, what's going on, Setsuna? She said, laughing a bit at her friend's laughter. Then Setsuna just grabbed a cup and showed it to everyone. They also started laughing like seals when they saw a cup with the peculiar face of the green-haired boy. They couldn't stop laughing, and this woke up someone who didn't want to be awakened. Izuku, turn off the sun, he said, causing everyone to sweat a drop. After a moment, everyone saw the green-haired boy coming down. The boys laughing, the girls with tenderness, as he was wearing a Pikachu pajama. You already know which one, I just couldn't find the picture. Can you forgive me? JPG. Izuku, what's going on? Why so much noise? He said, still somewhat asleep. Setsuna, hey, where did you get your cup? She said, showing her cup to the green-haired boy, laughing a bit. Izuku, a friend made it for me before I came to live in Japan. Cool, right? He said, smiling. Setsuna, yeah, it's amazing, she said, smiling and with a slight blush. Izuku, okay, everyone, high five for a good morning, he said, raising his palm. At that moment, the green-haired boy passed by everyone with his palm extended and everyone slapped it. When he passed by Kinoko, he lowered his hand, and when he passed by Shishida, he extended it. Finally, he reached the kitchen. Izuku, hey, and the cereal, he said, confused. Kendo, look around, it should be there, she said from the other side. Izuku, I don't see it, dude, he said, looking for it. Monoma, look around there, it must be somewhere, he said. Izuku, I can't see them. He said, finding them. This made everyone sweat a drop. The green-haired boy served himself some cereal on a plate and put a bandana on his head to keep his hair out of the way. He sat in the living room and turned on YouTube and a program called La Rosa de Guadalupe. This caught everyone's attention a bit. Ibara, what's that, Midoriya? She said, confused. Izuku, oh, that? It's a Mexican series with a bunch of bad acting and a lot of stupid situations, he said, laughing but then felt a slap. Ouch, he said, rubbing his head. Yui, I'm sorry. It's just that. I don't like it when people swear, he said, apologizing. Why did I do that? I don't know, I just didn't like him swearing, he thought, blushing. Izuku, oh, sorry. Well, as I was saying. It's a show where the Virgin Mary supposedly performs miracles. But the acting is so bad, he said, watching as Yui lowered his hand, that they're good, he said with a smile. The green-haired boy was about to continue speaking but felt his phone vibrating, and it was a call. Izuku, hey, Juan, what's up? He said, confused. Juan, hey, dude, what's up? Didn't we tell you about the doctor's appointment, dude, he said, laughing. Izuku, shit, the doctor's appointment. I'll log in now, he said, hanging up. Black hole, he said, causing a vortex to appear next to him and throw the plate of cereal and his coffee. I'll be busy in my room. Don't come in, he said, quickly climbing the stairs. Monoma, my cereal, he said, watching as the green-haired boy accidentally spilled his cereal. Everyone saw this with a sweat drop, except Ibara. She was hooked on the show. Reiko, what do you think Midoriya is hiding? She said, confused. Setsuna, I don't know. But hey, can't you see auras or something? Maybe you could see something, she said, smiling. Reiko, well, yeah. But all his auras are positive. He doesn't have anger, sadness, or anything. He radiates happiness, she said, surprising everyone. Yui, how can someone be so happy? He said, confused. Kinoko, maybe he just enjoys what he has and that's it, she said with a slight smile. Ibara, this is the best thing I've seen, she said, changing to another episode of the show, causing everyone to sweat a drop. With Izuku. Izuku, I don't know why this bag is here, dude. A bunch of chickens, he said, pulling out a bunch of inflatable chickens from a black bag. Time skip. The green-haired boy had finished his collaborative stream with a group of streamers called Those Four. After finishing, he decided he would react to an episode of La Rosa de Guadalupe before leaving. With the rest of the group. Ibara, I need another one. But they're not complete on YouTube, she said sadly. Where else can I watch it, she said, taking out her phone. Bleem. It's free, she said, looking at the prices on the page, lowering her head. Kendo, what's wrong, Ibara? She said, concerned about her friend. Ibara, it's just that I want to keep watching that show that Midoriya showed us, but I can't find where. What's Twitch? She said, looking at the results on her phone. With Izuku. Izuku, so let's start with La Rosa de Guadalupe, he said, pressing play on the episode. With the others. Then Ibara had entered the platform and saw that there was a section for La Rosa de Guadalupe. She got excited but was a little disappointed to see people reacting. But there was one in particular that caught her attention. Ibara, who is? Miss Asinfonia? She said, confused. With Izuku. Izuku, wait, what? What? This lady is speaking in dead languages, he said, pausing the episode. With the others. Yui, I don't know, maybe she's just a celebrity, he said, confused. Kendo, why don't you watch it, she said, confused. Ibara, maybe. Wait, she pressed the stream, now let's wait for it to load and. Midoriya? She said, surprising everyone, confusing them. Reiko, what does he have to do with this? She said, confused. Then Ibara showed her phone, and everyone was in shock. The green-haired boy had an audience of over 4 million people watching him at that moment. Yui, is he? Is he famous? She said, surprised. Then Monoma took out his phone and searched his name on the internet. Monoma, look at this, he said, grabbing everyone's attention. Izuku Midoriya, better known as Miss Asinfonia, or simply Misa, is a Mexican YouTuber dedicated to comedy videos. He currently resides in Japan, studying to be a hero, but he hasn't neglected his career as a streamer and YouTuber, uploading videos more frequently than usual. Undoubtedly a Mexican pride with his almost 10 million followers, he said, surprising everyone. Everyone, we have a famous classmate, they all said, surprised. Then they put Izuku's stream on the TV to find out more. Donation, hey Misa, your classmates know you're famous, happy face Izuku, no, dude, and you know what, I prefer it to stay that way. I've built a nice relationship with them in the short time I've been here, and I don't want them to treat me differently. Because, not to sound conceited, but I've made a name for myself. And I feel like if they know, they'll treat me differently, so no. Let it stay like this for now. But changing the subject, dude, this lady can't just smack the kid, he said, laughing. Everyone understood what the green-haired boy meant when he said that. They smiled calmly and continued watching his stream. Monoma, hey, I have an idea, he said, smiling, as did everyone else. With Izuku. Izuku, so that's how this ends. Hey, Marianita, thanks for those 25,000 bits? He said, in shock, they just donated 25,000 bits, he said, surprised. Marianita, I want you to know that today I'll invite my classmates to eat, and it'll be thanks to you. I love you. And now, with what you just donated to me, I'll leave my streamer life behind and become what I've always wanted. Then he's seen entering the bathroom and comes out wearing a shark mascot costume. From 005 to 018 everyone laughed at the green-haired boy's scene. And his classmates who were Marianita felt happy to see their classmate so happy. Izuku, Marianita. Now, because of you, I'm a shark. Thank you, he said, about to turn off the stream, but quickly turned it back on. Nah, just kidding, I'll still be a streamer, but, thank you, Marianita, I love you, kiss sound, now, goodbye, turns off the stream. Then the green-haired boy quickly went down the stairs, and the kids quickly turned off the screen when they saw him coming. Izuku, what do you guys want to eat? It's on me, he said, excited. Monoma, you're treating, so whatever you want, he said, smiling. Izuku, pizza, he said, with a big smile. Everyone nodded as the green-haired boy, with a smile, took the phone to start dialing. Izuku, I don't know the number, D, he said, making everyone sweat a drop. Then Tetsu called and ordered the pizzas. But since the pizza guys forgot to mention a promotion, they called back, but the green-haired boy answered. Izuku, Lopez Funeral Home, where we bury you, he said, causing the pizza guy to hang up without saying anything, and he started laughing, along with everyone else. After a while, the pizzas arrived, and the green-haired boy started eating with excitement with his new classmates. He felt very happy. Because having friends wasn't so bad. Oh, come on, the guy was surrounded by friends, but he had never had such friendly friends before. With a smile, he just took another slice of pizza as they chatted among themselves. End of prologue. We can see all the students from Class 1B thinking about what to have for breakfast before going to the academy. The green-haired guy was just looking at his phone until he saw a picture related to his religion. Izuku, the bike dude, right? He said, scaring everyone with his shout. Ibara, bless, she said, clasping her hands together. The green-haired guy just looked at her seriously. Ibara looked seriously at Izuku. They both looked serious. Izuku/Ibara, bless, guys, bless, they said, clasping their hands together, making everyone sweat. Everyone, bless? They all said, confused. Izuku, okay then. What do you guys want for breakfast? He asked, puzzled. Komori, I want mushroom soup. But we ran out, she said with a pout. Izuku, you want mushroom soup, little Miss Stinky? Well, here you go, he said, snapping his fingers, causing gas to come out of the table and a large plate of hot mushroom soup to appear. Komori, wow, she said, surprised. Kendo, can you also create food? She asked, surprised, to which the green-haired guy nodded. Setsuna, then why did we order pizza yesterday instead of creating it? She asked, confused. Izuku, oh, I'm just dumb, he said, mentally slapping himself while everyone laughed. Yui, why you're not as stupid? Uj just didn't he think well at that moment, she said, blushing as she stroked the green-haired guy's hair. What am I doing? She said, embarrassed. Yui, Angel, I don't know, but keep going. Yui, Demon, yes, keep going. Yui, yes, she said with a silly smile, stroking the green-haired guy's hair. Izuku, what's wrong with her? He asked, confused. Everyone, no idea, they said, shrugging. Then the green-haired guy moved Yui away a bit, and she, blushing, just looked at the ground. Yui, sorry, she said, blushing. Izuku, nah, it's cool, he said, smiling, blushing a few girls but mostly Yui. Kendo, well. Time to go, she said, as everyone nodded. Then everyone left the dorms and headed towards the academy. They walked calmly until they met Class A. Bakugo, move it, extras, he said, pushing the green-haired guy. Izuku, hey, man, he said, falling to the ground. Oh, dang, he said, rubbing his butt as he got up. That guy's anger issues, he said, causing Bakugo to stop abruptly. Bakugo, what did you say? He said, annoyed. Izuku, your damn anger issues, he said, putting a hand on Bakugo's shoulder. Bakugo, don't touch me. I'll be the best damn hero, and you extras are just a stepping stone, he said, annoyed. Izuku, yeah. And what will you do after that? He said, confusing Bakugo. Bakugo, what do you mean? He said, confused. Izuku, I mean, will you just be the number one hero and that's it? You know, when you die, you don't take anything with you, right? Not your fame, not your fortune, just you and your soul. You should do more like helping old ladies, adopting a puppy. Or learning to play the violin. It's to help you calm down. Trust me. Life is much better when enjoyed with friends, he said, smiling. Well. Let's go, guys, he said, leaving with Class B. Bakugo just stood there, not saying anything, thinking about what the green-haired guy said. With a pensive look, he just walked to his classroom under the amazed gaze of everyone. Everyone, did he just make Bakugo reflect? They all thought in shock. Then everyone in shock simply entered the classroom, watching as Bakugo looked out the window very thoughtfully, which left everyone even more impressed. With Izuku. Setsuna, hey, why didn't you hit him back for pushing you? She asked, somewhat annoyed with Bakugo, while everyone nodded. Izuku, let's see, you little Heisenberg, tell me, what would I gain? He said, prompting everyone to start thinking. Setsuna, his fear? She said, confused. Yui, that he stops bothering you? She said, blushing a bit because of the green-haired guy. Ibara, that he stays away from you? She also said, with a slight blush. Izuku, right. And why would I want him to be afraid of me? I'll be a hero, people should have confidence, not fear. That's why I told him his way of acting was wrong and that's why he needed to think about what to do with his life. And also, that damn kid should stop pushing people, my back still hurts, he said, chuckling lightly. Reiko, I think what you did was right. Violence only attracts more violence, she said, causing the green-haired guy to nod with a big smile, making the gray-haired girl blush a little. Then, after a while, they noticed the teacher hadn't arrived yet. "Mike, I'm here," he said, shouting and scaring everyone. "Izuku, ah," he said, jumping from the scare and falling to the ground. "Mike, oops. Sorry, young man," he said, with a nervous smile. The green-haired guy, nodding with a nervous smile, just nodded and sat in his place, waiting for Mike's instructions. "Mike, well. What you'll do today is I want you to sing a song. It shouldn't be made up and should last a maximum of 30 seconds. Got it?" he said, so everyone nodded. Then several students went up. It was all a cappella. Some were shy, but they had to do it for points. Some were entertaining. Others, not so much. Others were curious. "Ibara, God, you're here." The bike dude accompanies him. She sang at the top of her lungs, making everyone sweat. After that, the rest of the students took their turns until it was the green-haired guy's turn. "Mike, Midoriya, come up," he said, so the green-haired guy nodded. Then the green-haired guy adjusted his hair and tied it back again before standing in front of the whole class. "Mike, all right. You can start. Izuku, can I spice it up a bit?" he said, smiling. "Mike, that's what we're talking about. Let it out, kid," he said, excitedly. Then everyone watched in amazement as two more green-haired guys appeared out of nowhere, and suddenly a guitar and drums appeared, thanks to the green-haired guy's quirk. "Izuku, let's go, guys," he said, smiling. Then everyone watched as the two clones of the green-haired guy started playing. And the green-haired guy started singing. "Izuku, I'll kill your dog and kick your mom." The two clones of Izuku looked at the original guy weirdly, as did the whole class, but they just kept playing. "I'll hit your grandpa because I don't like him." Everyone stayed silent as the clones and the instruments disappeared. "Izuku, what?" he said, confused. Everyone, "Nothing," they said, with a drop of sweat running down their temples. Time skip. We can see in the UA cafeteria how the green-haired guy was eating with his whole class on one of the benches there. But everyone sees from afar as someone approached the green-haired guy. "Momo, excuse me. See, can I have a picture with you?" she said, nervously. "Izuku, hey, why do you want a picture with me?" he said, nervous. Momo couldn't continue as the green-haired guy took her by the hand, leaving several girls from the class jealous and causing Momo to blush masterfully. "Yui, and no, he doesn't want us to know he's famous," she said, jealous as she watched the green-haired guy walk off with Momo. "Kendo, what if we tell him we know? But that we won't treat him differently because of it?" she said, and the whole class nodded. "Ibara, I think that would be best. Then he wouldn't feel like he has to keep a secret," she said, smiling. "Setsuna, then we'll tell him when we get to the dorms," she said, and everyone nodded and continued eating. With Izuku. "Izuku, sorry for bringing you like this. It's just that I don't want anyone to find out what I do. I don't want to sound boastful. Or. Wait," he said, breathing heavily as he chuckled a bit. "Momo, yes. I understand. But if it's not too much trouble. Could I have a photo with you?" she said, lowering her head, blushing. "Izuku, of course," he said happily. Then Momo, with a smile, took out her phone and started taking photos with the green-haired guy. Until she almost ran out of memory. "Izuku, you sure do like photos, don't you?" he said, with a sweat drop. "But I'm surprised someone from Japan watches my videos," he said, slightly impressed. "Momo, I found one day and liked it and started following you," she said, trying not to stutter. "Izuku, wow. That's very flattering. Now, if you'll excuse me." Momo, "Oh, yes. Yes, they're about to perform. Well, take care, I hope to see you later," she said, running off with a blush flooding her face. "Izuku, hey. What a surprise," he said, smiling. Then the green-haired guy just headed towards his class. "Reiko, so, Midoriya. Why did that girl want you?" she said, confused. "Izuku, she just wanted to take a photo with me because she liked my hair?" he said with a nervous smile. "Kendo, are you sure?" she said, teasing the green-haired guy a bit. "Izuku, yeah?" he said. "Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just want to eat my chilaquiles the bell rang," he said sadly, putting them away, eliciting a small sweat drop from everyone. After that, everyone headed to the classroom. The green-haired guy still feeling sad for not getting to eat, but he had to bear it. After that, The day passed calmly, classes were uneventful, and everything was normal until it was time to go back to their dorms. The green-haired guy finally, hungry, took out his chilaquiles from his backpack and sat on the couch. He was about to take control when Tetsu, yink, he said, slapping the green-haired guy's hand and snatching the remote. Sorry, Midoriya, but, he realized he knocked his food over. Izuku, he said, in a high-pitched tone, starting to cry. Everyone at that moment fell silent, processing what was happening. Seriously, a 16-year-old crying because someone took the TV remote and spilled his food? But with the girls, it was a different situation. Tetsu felt a heavy weight on his back, one he was afraid to find out what it was. Girls, what did you do? They said, with a cold aura. Tetsu, I didn't know it would, he began to cry out of fear. Ibara, no. That won't save you, she said, sharpening her vines. Then, between Ibara, Kendo, Setsuna, and Kinoko, they started hitting Tetsu, while Reiko and Yui comforted the green-haired guy. Yui, now, Izuku. Why are you crying? She said in a caring tone. Izuku, I haven't eaten all damn day to enjoy the chilaquiles my boss sent me, and just when I was about to enjoy them, this jerk comes and knocks them over, he said between sobs. Reiko, alright. It's okay. Let's make you some more, okay? She said in a caring tone, and the green-haired guy nodded. Then the green-haired guy, along with Reiko, Yui, and the rest of the girls, went to the kitchen to make more chilaquiles for him. The problem? They didn't know how to make them, so it was up to the green-haired guy to make some, so he finished making them and sat back on the couch, leaving them on the coffee table for a while as he watched them. Izuku, I could have just created them, he said, thinking about all the work that could have been saved, eliciting a small sweat drop from everyone. Tetsu, all beaten up. Hey, Midoriya. I'm sorry for, no one could continue as a great tremor shook the 1B dorms, as well as almost the entire academy. Everyone worried rushed out and saw what seemed to be a villain. 2 meters tall, muscular, and a black cape with a mask covering his eyes. Where is the orange sausage? He said, confusing everyone. Izuku, John. Breakfast, he said seriously. Everyone fell silent. It seemed like the green-haired guy knew the strange villain. But why? Everyone looked confused at the green-haired guy. It's like he already knew the person who just invaded UA. But why? John, who are you, kid? How do you know my name? He said seriously. Then everyone saw how a mask of an orange-colored wrestler and a cape of the same color formed around the green-haired guy. Izuku, I'm the one who's going to kick your butt. John, so, the rumor was true. You were in Japan, orange sausage, he said with a smirk. Izuku, what the heck do you want, John? He said seriously, leaving everyone even more confused. Kendo, okay, could someone please tell me what's going on here? She said, frightened. Izuku, he's my mortal enemy. My lifelong rival. John Breakfast, he said seriously. John, this time I came to win. Izuku, coward. John, sausage, he finished his sentence when he realized what the green-haired guy said. Izuku, what an idiot, he said laughing. But then at the speed of light, John Breakfast grabbed Setsuna, frightening everyone. John, if you win, I'll give her back to you. If not, well, I'll give her back anyway. Why would I want her? He said, making everyone sweat nervously. Setsuna, help me, Izuku, he's going to hurt me, she said, somewhat scared. Izuku, would you hurt a woman? He said, annoyed. John, never. I have 4 girlfriends. And I have them all in. He said, feeling a blow to his stomach that sent him flying through the air. Then the green-haired guy quickly picked up Setsuna in his arms, blushing, but took her to where the others were. Izuku, you have to leave. As stupid as this guy may seem, he's very strong. Go inside and don't come out until I tell you, understood? He said, for everyone to nod. Yui, and what about YU? She said, scared. Izuku, I'll kick his butt, he said smiling. Monoma, we'll support you from inside, he said, for the green-haired guy to nod. John, sausage, he said, annoyed. Izuku, breakfast, he said, also releasing his power. All the girls blushed as they saw the muscles of the green-haired guy increase even more, making him taller. John, and that power. I don't remember you having it, he said, smiling challengingly. Izuku, and that stupidity? I don't remember you being such an idiot, he said, teasing John. John, you're screwed, he said, growing bigger. Izuku, no. You're screwed, he said, as a shadow formed behind him and the sound of a bicycle bell rang out. The bike guy, who are we messing up, my king? He said, smiling. Izuku, oh, this idiot, he said, pointing at John. Izuku, bless. The bike guy, you've roared. Then the bike guy launched himself at John Breakfast, hitting him in the abdomen with the tire of his bike and then, with his moving tire, passed it over John's face, leaving a mark on his face. Then, in a last attempt to escape the blows, John grabbed the bike and broke it in half. The bike guy just watched as his bike fell to the ground. The bike guy, well, we tried, he said to the green-haired guy before disappearing. Izuku, what the, he couldn't finish as a punch sent him flying straight into the doors of Class 1B, causing him to sink into them. At that moment, everyone became worried about the green-haired guy and went out to see, but couldn't continue as they saw John arrive and punch the green-haired guy again to sink him into the ground. Class B, Izuku, they said, frightened. John, seems like you weren't a match for my great power, he said smiling. But then everyone fell to their knees except John, although he felt a bit heavy under the pressure of power in the air. The green-haired guy got up from the ground as if nothing had happened. He took his wrestler mask and put it on. Orange sausage, let's see, jerk. Calling me weak. You're screwed now. And I'll show you, she said, striking wrestling poses. Then, at an overwhelming speed, the green-haired guy reached John and kicked him with force, burying his head in the ground. Then, he hammered him down even more. Orange sausage, World Edit, Gravity X10, everyone watched in astonishment as John sank deeper into the ground while Izuku laughed. I warned you, didn't I, dude? You're screwed, he said laughing. But what nobody expected was for John to emerge from the ground, with his eyes glowing red, generating pressure in the air. Orange sausage, oh man, he said, frightened. Then he punched the green-haired guy again, forcing him into the ground with all his might, removing his mask in the process. Everyone watched in fear as the green-haired guy didn't get up. And John slowly approached him. Then he grabbed him by his hair to lift him up and look him in the face. John, any last words, he said, preparing his fist. The girls cried. And the boys felt frustrated for not being able to help the green-haired guy. But they saw how, despite the situation, the green-haired guy smiled. That smile that gave reassurance. Izuku, yes. I have some last words. Go out and kick his ass, he said, making everyone look in amazement as 10 glimmers emerged behind him, more than twice his size. Question mark, Batista, said an Izuku with a Batman mask. Question mark, Merry Christmas, assholes, said an Izuku in a star costume. Question mark, hi, I'm Rob Boss. And today we're painting a beating, said an Izuku with a beret and a mustache. Question mark, the fish man has arrived, said an Izuku dressed as a fish. Question mark, I'm a shark, said an Izuku in a shark suit. Question mark, who are we gonna mess up, bro? Said an Izuku in a red and black plaid shirt with a red bandana on his forehead and a knife. Question mark, gee Joe, you're screwed now, said the wizard warlock. Question mark, good evening, guys, welcome to your favorite cooking show where we'll prepare some beatings, said an Izuku in a chef's suit. Question mark, a lobster, said an Izuku in a lobster suit. Then John, scared, backed away a bit while the green-haired guy got up and put on his mask again. And he let out a war cry. Orange sausage, what's up, guys? Rey Mysterio is a coward. John, no, he said, more scared. Orange sausage, the golden scorpion. You're screwed. But I like you, he said, blowing a kiss to his fingers. John, no, he said, even more frightened. Orange sausage, and I was looking for you. To kick your ass, he said, pointing at John. Then he turned back and saw all the Izukus smiling, waiting for orders. Izuku, attack. Izukus, yes. Then John tried to run but he wasn't fast enough. The first to reach him was Lobster Izuku, who with one of his claws sent him to the ground. Lobster Izuku, he always dreamed of being a lobster. But before John hit the ground, Rob Boss drew a pool on the ground. John was going to fall into the pool but before he did, Shark Izuku emerged from it, biting him in the abdomen and with a spit, sent him forcefully against the pavement. Rob boss, Shark Izuku, perfect, they said, kissing their fingers. Then, John, barely standing, could only watch as the wizard warlock floated above him with a big rock levitating in his hands. Wizard warlock, magic, jerk, he said, throwing the rock at him. John managed to dodge the rock, but he couldn't dodge a metal sandwich that hit him in the face and then returned to its original owner. Chef Izuku, today I'm cooking up some beatings, and you're the main ingredient. Then Chef Izuku lunged at John breakfast and began a round of punches, leaving him weaker each time, to the point where he could barely stand. Chef Izuku used his metal sandwich to hit John's face, making him weaker and weaker. But then, John managed to grab Chef Izuku by the foot and hit him against Lobster Izuku, making them both disappear, but he couldn't avoid a cut that went straight to his face, barely dodging it. Billy, you're not from around here. Come on, Grandma, use what I taught you, he said, and then an elderly woman with 3 knives in each hand appeared behind Billy. Billy's grandma, yes, she said, then she and Billy were thrown at John. Then, between Billy and his grandma, they started cutting John, who couldn't withstand the fight anymore, so he decided to escape. He kicked Billy's grandma, sending her flying towards him, making both of them disappear. Batista, he said, kicking John breakfast in the groin, leaving him breathless, and then punching him in the face, knocking him to the ground. Batista, he said, disappearing on his own. Then, John, all bloodied, got up. But he didn't wait for a Christmas ornament to hit him. Star Izuku, Merry Christmas, you son of a bitch, he said, hitting him with a bag of gifts that seemed to be filled with cement, leaving him very dazed. Everyone watched with excitement as Izuku defeated the villain, but then they watched in shock as a bright light appeared behind him. But this one was not like the previous ones, it was 10 times bigger. Upon closer inspection, they could see what looked like a white rose with feet, eyes, and hands riding a red bicycle while a bike bell rang in the background. John, what is? Oh no, he said, scared. Izuku, Guadalupe. Miracle, he said, pointing at John. Then a tune began to play. A tune we all know very well. And a strong wind swept through UA. It was a wind that many had to brace against to avoid being blown away. Yui erected tall pillars for her classmates to hold onto, while Ibara grabbed onto a sturdy support with her vines and grabbed more classmates, and Kendo enclosed some in her fist while holding onto another support. But John, having nothing to shield himself with, had no choice. John, we'll face each other again, sausage. And believe me, I'll defeat you, he said, annoyed. Izuku/orange sausage, you're screwed, dude, they said, laughing. Then John was blown away by the wind from the Guadalupe rose. Then everyone watched in amazement as the green-haired guy's mask disappeared while he breathed heavily. And Guadalupe disappeared with the same tune and bike bell. Izuku, I did it. Bless, he said, clasping his hands together before collapsing unconscious. Everyone, Izuku, they said, worried. Then they quickly ran to the green-haired guy, concerned, but relaxed a bit when they saw that he was only unconscious. Yui, rest, Izuku. You did really well, she said, smiling, as she helped carry the green-haired guy with the help of Kendo and Tetsu. Izuku, with the power of the rose, guys. Anything is possible, he said, very sore, causing laughter among everyone.